Welcome to Hayden Mark's Travels, the channel where we explore the world's most luxurious destinations, one fabulous stay at a time. This week we landed in Hobart, Tasmania, a place where history meets modern charm, nature meets fine dining, and where we learn that you should always book a second serving of pasta when it's that good. Over the next 4 days, we'll be climbing Mount Wellington, strolling through the beautiful botanical gardens, indulging in the most mouth-watering pastries, and taking the most luxurious ferry ride to an art museum that left us, well, let's just say, questioning reality. And if that's not enough, we will sip wine at Pooley Winery, hunt for treasures at Salamanca Market, and take a detour to Bruny Island, where we discovered gorgeous beaches, incredible food, and an empty bread fridge. And don't go anywhere. At the end, we'll tease our next adventure in Launceston, Cataract Gorge, and the stunning Wineglass Bay. So grab a drink, sit back, and let's dive into Hobart in luxury style. Our journey starts at Maylands Lodge, a beautiful boutique hotel that perfectly blends historic charm with modern luxury. Think high ceilings, elegant furnishings, and a bathtub so deep that you might need a snorkel. And the best part? A gorgeous view of Mount Wellington right from our window. Because let's be honest, waking up to mountain views makes everything 10 times fancier. With the sun shining, we made our way to the Royal Tasmanian Botanical Gardens, home to some of the most beautiful plants and flowers in the country. We strolled through vibrant landscapes, marvelled at exotic trees, and debated whether or not we could keep a bonsai tree alive for more than a week. Spoiler, probably not. So we're at the Lily Pond collection now, aren't we, Boo?
Yes, at the Botanical Gardens in Hobart. And they're very, very beautiful.
What do you like about them?
It's not tropical foliage, it's the more temperate foliage, so it's very green, lots of lilies, lots of Chinese plants and people and trees. And there's ducks and birds, and yeah, it's really lovely, and it's really pleasantly warm.
Yeah, and there's that beautiful sound of birds like tweeting and clucking in the background, isn't there? Because quite a lot of bin chickens around, I think.
And it was free entry, no charge to get in, which was quite surprising. So we'll show you some more as we move around.
And it's pleasantly warm today as well, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
25 or something.
It's the forecast. Yeah, very pleasant. Let's have a wander.
Let's have a wander.
This is the conservatory. We have a Betula pendula and a Fagus sylvatica. Yeah, it's the 1818 to 1968.
So this part of the Royal Botanical Gardens is beautiful because it's full of colour from like lots of different types of plants and flowers. And what I love about it is they're creating a lot of texture and a lot of different colours, so that at different times of the year there's going to be beautiful colours to be able to see. So it's been really well thought out, and the smells are divine as well. So it's a very sensory experience, and you know, it's reminiscent of being in an English country garden. So you could be back in the UK, although I'm quite pleased we're not. Then it was time for an adventure, a scenic drive up Mount Wellington. The winding roads added a little thrill to the journey, but once we reached the top, the views were nothing short of spectacular. We were greeted with a breathtaking 360-degree panorama of Hobart, the River Derwent, and the surrounding landscapes. The sun was shining gloriously, and the warmth in the air made it feel like the perfect day for exploring. We could see for miles, taking in every detail of the city, the shimmering river, and the distant mountains stretching beyond the horizon. It was one of those moments where time seemed to slow down and we stood there completely mesmerised by the beauty around us. The clear skies and the calm atmosphere made the whole experience feel serene and awe-inspiring. One of those perfect days where everything aligns and you feel incredibly connected to the world around you.
It's probably not the best place for photographs.
No, or to speak. So we decided now we're going to slowly descend down the mountain.
Going to Sandy Lane.
We're going to go to Sandy Lane.
Sandy Bay.
Oh yeah, Sandy Bay.
Sandy Bay.
Yeah.
Not Sandy Lane. Sandy Lane is in Barbados.
It's Battery.
Wrong country there.
Battery Point.
And
we're going to go and get some groceries, but also we're going to stop and get
nice coffee somewhere.
Yeah, or something nice to drink. And, so we'll see you when we get down to the bottom of the hill.
It's a mountain.
It is. It's not just a hill. So after all that fresh mountain air, we needed some serious comfort food. Enter Jackman and Muckross, a charming bakery tucked away in Battery Point. Now, we've had pastries all over the world, but this was next level. The raspberry tart, a game changer. Flaky, buttery perfection. If we could have taken a suitcase full of them home, then we would have.
We wouldn't normally have them, but this one's an orange and almond, and this one is a raspberry and lemon cream. So we're going to have half each.
After coming down from our sugar rush, we strolled through the cobbled streets of Salamanca Place, a part of Hobart that feels like a perfect blend of old world charm and modern vibrancy. Historic sandstone buildings stood proudly, now home to galleries, cafes and boutique shops, while street performers and local artists added a lively pulse to the scene. From there we wandered down to the waterfront, where fishing boats bobbed gently in the harbour and the salty sea breeze mixed with the scent of fresh seafood from the wharfside eateries. There's something about this place. It's got the effortless elegance of a European port town, but with a laid-back Aussie soul. A place where time slows down just enough to savour every moment.
Okay, so we're going back down now to Salamanca, which is down at the waterfront, or the wharf, for some dinner. I think our Uber's just arriving now. Here it is. And we're trying Uber for the very first time. There you go. And that's rocked up. So yeah, we're going to go and have some cocktails, and then we're going to go to Italian restaurant. So let's go.
Our first stop was the rooftop bar at the Telegraph Hotel. So what are you having?
I'm having a glass of wine.
Yeah.
You're having a porn star martini.
Having a porn star martini, because we've heard they're good in here.
Yeah, we're overdressed.
But to be honest, it was a little noisier than we'd hoped. Still, it was a fun way to kick off the night before heading somewhere much more our vibe, Maldini's. As soon as we stepped into Maldini's, we knew we'd made the right choice. Warm, inviting, and effortlessly charming. It was the kind of place where you just want to settle in and take your time. And the food, absolutely spot on. We both went for steak, and it was cooked to perfection, full of flavour and perfectly paired with a crisp, chilled white wine. No fuss, no overcomplication, just simple, high quality ingredients done right. We loved it so much, we came back the next night to do it all over again. So if you ever find yourself in Hobart, make sure Maldini's is on your list. Trust us, you won't regret it. Day 2 in Hobart, and we started our morning the right way. Fresh coffee, a gourmet breakfast, and a moment of deep reflection on just how good hotel beds are. Seriously, can someone explain why hotel pillows are always better than the ones at home? It's a mystery of the ages. With our energy levels fully restored, it was time for a cultural adventure. We're heading to Mona, the Museum of Old and New Art, a place so famous and so bizarre that people who don't even like museums still go. but first we needed to get there in style. Now, this is no ordinary ferry. Oh no, this is a floating luxury lounge, leather seats, plush booths, and a full bar serving wine and cocktails at 10 a.m. Now, were we planning to have a glass of Tasmanian bubbles before noon? No. Did we anyway? Obviously. We sipped, we admired the views, and we felt just the right level of bougie. And then we arrived. Mona. This place is equal parts art gallery, underground labyrinth, and fever dream. To enter, you literally descend into the depths of the earth like some kind of Indiana Jones adventure, where you're met with a mix of thought-provoking masterpieces and things that make you question your entire existence. We wandered through hallways of avant-garde art, stood in rooms where the walls whispered secrets, and found ourselves in an exhibit that was, well, how do I put this? A bit too personal. Let's say Mona has a thing for the human body in ways that will either enlighten you or deeply traumatise you. After our artistic awakening or emotional damage, jury's still out, we retreated to Mona's outdoor wine bar, because sometimes you just need a good drink after seeing something that you can't unsee. Day 3 kicked off bright and early with a visit to the famous Salamanca Market, which opens every Saturday from 8:30 to 3 p.m. And honestly, it felt like half of Tasmania had the same idea. Why? Because we'd unintentionally rocked up on the same weekend as both the Tasmanian Wine Festival and the Australian Wooden Boat Festival. Think vino-fueled tourists, tall ships and market madness all colliding in one heavy, humming harbourside celebration. The atmosphere? Electric. There were street performers everywhere playing guitars, didgeridoos, and some instruments I couldn't even name. And that music gave the whole market this brilliant boho buzz. The weather was a little overcast, but it just added to the ambience really. Think moody skies, cosy vibes, and the smell of roasting coffee beans in the air. My mission was to track down the infamous donut stall I'd heard about from way too many influencers on YouTube. I had dreams of warm, gooey centres and sugary perfection, but what I got was, well, a bit stale, slightly doughy and disappointingly dry in the middle. Where was the ooze? It was more like a sugary pillow than a flavour explosion. I felt robbed. Obviously, we needed emotional backup, so we hunted down a cookie stall and unapologetically inhaled a massive chocolate chip cookie, just to be naughty. I would score it 10 out of 10, would definitely rebel again. Now, we're not usually market people, but this one was huge, full of artisan crafts, local produce, natural skincare, and handmade everything. We stopped at a lavender stall where I spritzed myself and instantly felt like I'd walked into a field in Provence. We had great chats with many of the stall holders. Everyone was so lovely and up for a good old yarn. From market madness to forest tranquility, we headed off to Russell Falls in the Mountfield National Park. The ladies at reception at the tourism office were so kind and incredibly helpful. Not only did they guide us with insider tips, but they sent us off with a real sense of excitement for the trail to Russell Falls. Walking through the forest felt like entering another world. Towering tree ferns lined the path, filtering the sunlight and filling the air with the scent of earth and moss. It was peaceful, almost otherworldly.
Okay, so it only took us an hour and a quarter to get here from Hobart, but Hayden feels like it was 2 hours, but I told him that's because he was driving like a nana, half the speed of everybody else. But yeah, it's about an hour and a quarter out of Hobart, so it leaves the traffic behind and the busy roads, which are really busy. yeah, and then brings you out into the sticks where it's much quieter, a little bit hillbilly as well in places, but yeah, nice drive.
And then we arrived, Russell Falls, powerful, dramatic and absolutely breathtaking. The water tumbled down into a wide, roaring cascade which left us in awe. It was one of those moments where nature completely takes your breath away. Unforgettable. Okay, and what do you think?
I think they're very nice.
They're a lot higher than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah, there's more water than I thought they would be. There's more water than Angel Falls, that's for sure.
Yeah. The path to the second falls, the Horseshoe Falls, did include a good chunk of steps, but the serenity and the lush green surrounds made every incline worth it. Seriously, this place is like stepping into Fern Gully meets Avatar. So still, so green, so good for the soul. So we made it right to the top of Russell Falls. I think we must have climbed about 300 stairs on the way up, and you know, it wasn't easy, but well worth it when you get up to the top. Look at that behind me. You get the most amazing views. Yeah, forest that goes on for miles and miles.
It says the oldest trees in Tasmania. You've got the world's tallest flowering plants, which is the giant ash. And you've got the giant eucalyptus and myrtles. Amazing.
It is amazing. And the air is so fresh up here.
Yeah.
It's crispy almost. It's so beautiful. And it's called Horseshoe Falls because
it's shaped like a horseshoe. If you tilt just a little bit, you get the top of it. That's it. There you go. Can you see the horseshoe?
nay.
Yeah, nay.
And since we'd clearly earned it, we made our way to Pooley Winery, one of the top spots in the Coal River Valley. Mark tried to convert me into becoming a white wine lover, so we sampled our way through a delicious range. And guess what? I'm now fully on board with a good SSB. Crisp, fruity and fabulous. Just like me.
Isn't it? It's definitely rose water. This is the Gewürztraminer. Tastes like Turkish delight, and it's good with blue cheese and curry, apparently.
Although I thought it
tasted of blue cheese, but it's still company blue cheese.
Funny twist, we noticed a lively group of girls celebrating something at the next table, and then the next day we randomly bumped into them again on the ferry to Bruny Island. Either Tasmania's tiny or the universe really wants us to be wine friends. You're following us. What's going on? Are you from the northeast of England? Where are you from, the northeast of England? Oh, you're Irish?
Wrong country, lad.
Oh, some of you sound northern.
No, some of them are. We're all from different places.
Oh, right, okay. Day 4, and we're off on a mini-island adventure to the legendary Bruny Island. We rolled our trusty hire car right onto the ferry and cruised across the de Entrecasteaux Channel, bound for an island famed for its wild beauty, epic viewpoints and mouth-watering local treats. Bruny is basically Tasmania's cooler cousin who's always on holiday. Our first stop was the Neck Lookout, a dramatic stretch of land connecting North and South Bruny. After what felt like 436 steps, not that we counted, but our thighs definitely did, we were greeted with an epic 360-degree panorama. Honestly, if Tasmania had a Tinder profile pic, this would be it. Then it was time for the local foodie trail, where we saw artisan honey and gourmet chocolate. The rules were simple: if it's free and delicious, we're tasting it. From Manuka magic to decadent truffle bites, our taste buds were doing a happy dance. And then we encountered the bread fridge, a humble fridge perched by the roadside, whispered about in foodie folklore, said to be filled with fresh homemade loaves, We approached it with reverence. Opened it. Nothing. Nada. Zilch. Not even a breadcrumb. Had we been robbed by rogue early birds? Was this an elaborate sourdough sting operation? The mystery of the empty bread fridge remains unsolved, but our dreams of a crunchy crust and fluffy centre were shattered. Thankfully, Bruny came through with a salve for our broken hearts, jaw-dropping beaches straight out of a dream. We drove all the way down to Cloudy Bay and honestly, it took our breath away. White sands, turquoise waters, and not another soul in sight. Like stepping into a postcard that forgot to add a price tag. Pure, untamed bliss. And that's a wrap on Bruny Island and the curious case of the vanishing loaf. Next up, we head north to Launceston, explore the majestic Cataract Gorge and chase coastal bliss at Wineglass Bay. Don't forget to like, subscribe and follow along as we keep chasing luxury, laughs and the occasional roadside mystery here on Hayden Mark's Travels.